The Fallen by Curran, Chapter 2 Rivers, Dams, and Oceans. On the ninth consecutive day, I woke up to the sound of my own voice. It was morning on the 15th of September, and I was feeling slightly confused. The voices were so real in my head. It sounded like it was I talking. But then who was he? I shook my head clear as I stumbled into the bathroom, my two long pajamas trailing on the floor. I could hear my mother brewing another cup of Nespresso downstairs. My dad would have long gone by now. It was a Tuesday, and he always had an early lecture on a Tuesday. In 3, 4, 1, nothing like a good old Renaissance classic on a Tuesday morning, he often whistled, heading out the door. It was his favorite class to teach. I was still thinking about my dream when I arrived at school. Nick had already saved me a seat in math class. So, how did it go? How did what go? I asked, still thinking about the dream. Your date. Hello, don't tell me you bailed on him. He's been dying to do this for weeks. It's only been a month, I say, trying to stall and live down the fact that Jack had been hot on my heels since the end of summer. Since the middle of August. Oh God, I must have been in a daze. I'd completely forgotten about the day before. Strange considering it had been another perfect day. Since the start of term, Jack and I had been spending practically every day together. Maybe that was it. All the days just blended into one. My parents were starting to get suspicious by my frequent absence after school, and the fact that I was now constantly glued to Skype. Nicole let me off because she was finding our budding romance quite the source of entertainment. Plus, she never stopped taking credit for it. Well, I wanted to stretch this out for as long as possible. I was secretly enjoying the anticipation. I wanted to see how long she could hold her breath for. Turns out, not that long. Gah, Nicole lets out a big sigh of frustration. Just do already. Okay, fine, I did it. Okay, happy now? I went on my date with Jack. It was amazing. We watched some rom-com. It was alright. He held my hand. He kissed me on the lips. Goodbye. They're done. Okay, can I go now? Well, no, because class hasn't even started yet. But tell me details. I want details. Where did you watch it? The Twin Cinema? Well, duh, there was only one tiny little cinema in town, and it only had two screens, which made it tricky when you were trying to have an inconspicuous date. I was surprised Nick hadn't already heard all the details. I was there. I was sure there were a few people I recognized from school last night. Sorry, I thought maybe you'd gone into town to watch it. By town, I knew she meant downtown Portland. Anyway, stop avoiding it and tell me already. I squirmed under the attention. I didn't like talking about guy stuff, except with Nicole, but still, she knew exactly how I felt about the whole thing. Gushing just isn't my thing. Public gushing, I mean. The whole love stick, twirl your hair around your finger while drooling out the side of your mouth charade was just too, I don't know, softly, vulnerable. Well, anyway, the point is that I didn't like it, but it was mixed. I owed her that much. After all, it was all due to her skillful matchmaking that I was even in a position to gush in the first place. Well, the movie itself wasn't that great, but I guess that turned out to be a good thing because, it got a little tense. I mean, I could tell neither of us was paying very much attention to the film. So, how you have the armrest in the middle of the seat? She nodded yes. Well, his arm was on it the entire time, and so was mine. I think we both did it on purpose. Or at least I did as well. And so the whole movie, our arms were just there touching, and it was really weird. Nice of me, I could feel his skin burning up next to mine, and well, my hand was slightly further up, closer to our cup. And he sort of made a movement as if to reach for a drink, but then he just settled his hands right next to mine, so that they were completely back to back, our fingers touching. I could feel myself getting awkward and blushing now. Wow, it's really hot in here. Go on, she urged me. I could see she was picturing it all in her head. She still looked way too proud of herself, to be perfectly honest. So then I don't really know what happened. His finger twitched, my finger twitched, and then before you know it, my hand is underneath his, and it was all nice and warm and all that. And I got the biggest butterflies doing somersaults in my stomach. It was so embarrassing. I swear, if the lights were on, you'd probably have seen the goofiest grin on my face. Thank God the film decided to pick up so I could just focus on the screen for a little bit and wait for my nerves to calm down, which they never did, of course. Nicole let out a little shriek of excitement. It was a bit too loud, though. Miss LaFontaine? Something you'd like to share with the rest of the class? Mr. Taylor was nice, but when he was in the middle of something like explaining one of Maxwell's theories on electromagnetism, like he was now, then he'd really appreciate it if you could pay attention. Sorry, sir, Nicole apologized, and then more quietly to me. So then, did he kiss you? I struggled to pay attention to what Mr. Taylor was going on about. As you can see, he continued, a changing in magnetic field creates a changing electric field. The electric field then creates a changing magnetic field following Maxwell correction to Ampere's law. And voila! He pauses for effect. The ongoing cycle enables electromagnetic radiation to move through space. Oh, I give up. No, I whispered back, furiously scribbling down the equation on the board. I figured I'd learn it all later when I got home. He kissed me in his car, I whispered, as we were saying goodbye. Oh, okay, she sort of hissed. Girls, please. Sorry, we both replied sheepishly in unison. I scribbled a note in the corner of my sheet. I'll tell you later. Later on at lunch, I was just about finishing off telling Nicole about the rest of the evening when he showed up, the devil himself. Hey, Maya. Hey, Nicole. What was the wink for? Clearly he was thanking her for all the help. A giddy rush of excitement took over as he sidled up to me on the bench, just like he did the night before. So the film was entertaining. He said that last word as if he were trying to find some one more appropriate word for the fortuitous turn of events. Try amazing, I thought to myself. Instead, I just smiled and played the cool card, focusing instead on giving Nicole a play-by-play of what actually happened in the film. Maya, what? I asked innocently. You didn't just ruin it for me, did you? What? It was a defensive exclamation this time. It's not like it was Newman or anything. And even if it was, then it wouldn't matter because you've read the book like 15 times anyways. You know it's better than anybody. Was all she could say. Still, I rolled my eyes at her passive attempt at a rebuttal, but before anything more could be said on the matter, Jack suddenly got to his feet, realizing he'd forgotten about the athletics union meeting that started 5 minutes ago. He gloved half his coat can, swung his backpack onto his right shoulder, and before I knew it, I felt his lips linger lightly on mine. It was over so quick, our second kiss, and he did it so confidently, as if we'd been doing it for ages. Bye, he said, with a sparkle in his eye. I'll see you later? Do I have a choice? I tested. He pretended to think about it for a second. No, not really. I'll pick you up at 5. Sure, later. We'd already made plans to meet up again after school. Nothing special. We had the car today, so he promised to take me on a spin before grabbing some ice cream by the lake. As luck would have it, the rest of the girls showed up just in time to have seen our very much public display of affection. Now they were hassling Nicole and me for all the details. Great, here we go again. I said this myself, although really I was suddenly quite willing to relive all the little details all over again. I didn't mind this time. To be honest, that last lingering kiss left me quite smitten. At 4:57, Jack showed up in his old black pirate. I left my parents a note on the kitchen counter. Gone out, be back at 7, and ran out the door, not bothering to restrain myself. I think it was quite clear how we felt about each other. This time I gave him the first kiss on the cheek, when which he then corrected with one he planted on my lips. Hi, Beans. Where to? Wherever you want. I'm at your service. I still can't believe you can't drive yet. Let's go somewhere you always wished you could drive to. Huh? That was a difficult one. The only place I really wanted to drive to was Council Crest Park simply because the views were spectacular, but getting there by bus was always too much of an effort. I tried doing it once and it took me nearly 2 hours. By car, however, I knew for a fact it only took just over 20 minutes. I threw it out there. How about Council Crest Park? He laughed. I don't think he expected me to take his offer quite so seriously, but I couldn't help it. He did offer his services after all, and even if he did mind, he never let it show. It was all smiles and more confident flirtations after that. I left the car window open to feel the air rush along my cheeks, blowing my hair back in disarray. He found this highly amusing. Just like a kid at a fairground, he teased. At one point, after leaning forward to change radio stations, I rested my hand on the gear stick, cupping his warm, tender hand under mine. He liked this a lot. Mostly we spoke about random gossip and happenings around town, what everyone's plans were for the weekend. Sammy, one of the guys on the swim team, was throwing a pool party at his place, and Jack was wondering if I wanted to go with him by any chance. What is your dad lending you the car again this weekend? My head was practically stuck out the window, busy taking in the green I would never tire of. But it was clear even to me that over the heavy rush of fresh Portland air blowing past us, I sounded way too enthusiastic about that. Perhaps that's why he suddenly started hesitating. No, I mean, yes, he is, but that's not what I was asking. Suddenly the car grinded to a slow, easy halt. I meant, he clarified, would you go with me as my girlfriend? I practically flew out of the window and landed on cloud nine before getting a hold of myself and proceeded to float back down to earth straight into passenger seat. I could feel myself blushing again. Sure, yeah, yes. That I can do that. Oh God, shut up already. He was laughing at me. He was actually laughing at me. I felt mortified. But then